All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming around. We are still on that story that happened in Area 25 with a young girl, and she's 16, Down syndrome, and she's been raped in the past years and also in recent months. And this really came to my attention. I really thought, you know what, we really need to zero into these issues, talk about what Down syndrome is. And Morgan was so helpful in getting us to know what that is, what it's like for families, and what to expect if we have a child that has Down syndrome, what to look for, of course, as signs to kind of determine what's happening just on a natural, like on a normal level. But now, thank you, Natalia.
Thank you
for coming
having
in.
me. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Because this issue, like, it really angered me to kind of, first of all, my question was, who does such things?
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
You can tell that someone's in a bad position. They are at a disadvantage already. And then someone goes in and does such a thing.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, what do you do? Because, you know, I'd like, because I'm outraged. I'm just about ready to jump into it. So yes, let's get the background of what you do.
I am Natalia Govat.
Yes.
I work for Fountain of Life, which is a local NGO that primarily helps victims of defilement, rape, and sexual assault through trauma counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what we do is when these victims come in, we provide psychological first aid, follow-up therapy, play sessions if it's kids, and support groups.
You say kids because kids are also...
They are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
They are the most vulnerable because of such cases where there may be children with disabilities. They get taken away by little things like sweets, little things that they get defiled for. And because they rely on someone, it's very rare for a grown woman like me to just be raped. I'll fight, I'll report. But kids, yes. Yes. But kids, right? It's because they have somebody taking care of them and they're taking advantage of them. Yeah, so basically the average of victims of defilement, rape, sexual assault, it's kids under 12. Yes.
Now, talking about sexual abuse itself, I've had I've taken a few classes on this, but I'd like to kind of hear on your end, you're a professional at this.
Yes.
I know that abuse sexually is not just rape.
Yeah.
What can be defined as sexual abuse? It's an array of things.
Yeah, it's a big term where people, sociologists, psychologists can give different definitions, but on a layman's definition, it's just sexual activities that are not, you didn't give consent. Even if it's touching your breast, touching your butt, saying inappropriate slurs, or the way vendors do in the streets, auntie, you know, this, that is harassment, sexual harassment. Yes. Then there's rape, where you are forced to have sex with someone when you do not want.
Sexual intercourse.
Yes, when you did not want, when you did not know, also because some are kids, 6 months, 2, they don't know what is going on. So that is rape. And then there's the defilement now, where you're having sex with a minor, even if the person wanted to. Even if this kid is 14, she's 15, she's 16, she wanted to. She seduced you. If it's a minor, that is defilement. Even, yes, that's where people say, we know when they are caught and they're like, she wanted. But if she's a minor and you're an adult and you had sex with this one, it's defilement and it's a crime.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Look, you're talking about 6-month-old people and grown women like you and me, and I'm sure even people that are way older than us that do go through these things. And like you say, anything from slurs to touching inappropriately, kissing inappropriately. I mean, just someone, if there's no consent, it's
a sexual act with no consent, then it's abuse.
And because there's a power thing there as well. Someone's taking advantage of a person or power playing with them.
It could be your boss, you know, but then these are difficult things because it's hearsay, it's you against there's no proof. Because I would say, oh, my boss touched my butt, I want to file sexual harassment. Then he'd be like, where did this happen?
But
Where's
still
your
happened,
proof?
right?
But it's still happening, and it's emotional. There's emotional abuse. So sexual abuse encompasses all the 3 abuses, which is physical, when it gets to a point where you're hurt, when you're trying to fight off this person, or you get hurt when being raped. And then there's the emotional one, like maybe the harassment, where you're being abused, but then you can't do anything about it. It's emotional, you're thinking about it all the time. And then it's, you know, the economical, because when this happens, you become depressed, maybe you start failing at school, you won't want to be performing at your job. So it encompasses all abuses. That's why it's so crucial and difficult. Yes.
Wow. Like, I mean, you just touched on so much
Yes.
there, that this one act
Yeah.
could actually affect every area
Yes.
of your life.
Yes.
From how you are living,
Yeah.
how you view yourself, how you are relating
Yes.
with people. You're at work, but you're not really performing because it's something that's on your
Yes.
mind constantly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about I would say, first response when someone hears that someone has gone through such an experience.
Yeah.
What would your advice be? Because this is what you
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
So a child, and I will speak first from a child, because
Yes.
usually they would have to live with it for way longer
Yes.
compared to someone that has been abused
adult.
later
Yeah.
in life. So I come to my parent and I say, look, this has happened. This person so and so did this to me. What should happen in that case?
If the child has actually come out to report, that's a good thing. So the first thing is for parents to believe, because to believe the child.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, no child can just come up and say that unless maybe he or she is a psychopath or something. But it's not something you can lie about.
Yeah.
Your kid coming to you,
And
she
saying
or,
such
or
things.
he, I mean, yeah, she or
Yeah.
he has taken a big step to report. So you should believe, no matter if you're doubting, but believe, and then take necessary steps. And then if it's a sexual act that actually happened, the first thing is to go to the hospital. That's the first thing. Before you start saying, oh, I should get counseling and this, the police. The first thing is to go to the hospital to get medical help. So these days, have you heard of the one-stop centers?
Yes.
Yes,
No.
the one-stop centers are wards or buildings that UNICEF and government are building in all district hospitals to help victims of sexual assault. So right now at Kamuzu Central Hospital, it's under construction. At Queens, it's fully functional. So when you go there, you meet the medical team, you meet the police, you meet the social welfare, you meet the trauma counselors, and you meet the magistrate. They're all there.
The magistrate is there?
Yeah, the child prosecutor who will take the case up
Okay.
to prosecute this person if
Yeah.
if he's known.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the perpetrator is known. Yeah, so the hospital is the best place to go because all services are there. You know, previously people would go to the police first. They go to the police, or go get a medical report, and then we can help you. They go to the hospital, or go get a police report for us
It's
to
a
believe.
runaround.
It was,
Yeah.
yes.
By
So
the time that's done, weeks have
they've
gone
given
past.
up, and then they're like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah.
So the aim for having these one-stop
Yeah.
spots are for people to come and find help in one place.
In one place.
So that I don't have to go here and then.
And there they're losing their
exhausted.
transport.
Yeah.
Most of these people don't have enough money to do all this, to run around.
True.
So they come at the building and they're helped at once. Like they meet the medical team, and then the police right there, and then they're listening, and social welfare they're listening, and then after that they go to the trauma counseling. If it's a case where it's tough, like in a community, and this person is not yet caught, it means that the victim is still under threat. So at home it won't be safe. So social welfare will take up the case and maybe find a suitable, safe place for this victim. And then there's a magistrate where if the perpetrator is known, you push the case that this person should be prosecuted.
Now, I know that sometimes, I mean, even the process sounds a bit, you know,
tedious.
it's like, oh my gosh. You said that home might not be safe.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I would love for people to kind of
Yes.
zero in on. The people that are most likely to be the people that are causing the abuse,
Yes.
right? Should we think it's because in her case, like in the case of the child that we were speaking of, it was someone that kind of lived in their compound,
Yes.
and then there was people like the Kabaza people
Yes.
that were giving her rights and then
Yeah.
taking advantage. In this case, who should we look out for the most?
You should look out for people that you know, because 98% of all perpetrators are somebody that you know. Like I said earlier on, it's difficult for me to get, because I'm older. It would be a case where maybe I made the wrong judgment by using a road that's dark at night. I use a shortcut, then people take advantage of that. Or maybe I was drunk and stuff like that. But when it's kids, it's usually somebody that they know.
Someone they know and trust.
Yes. The Gabaza people probably were seeing her most of the times. They were noticing, it's maybe the house help, the uncles, the dads, the stepdads, the pastors,
mothers,
the teachers. Yes. It's
everyone.
Yes, that's the sad part about sexual
Yeah.
abuse. It's somebody that you know, and it makes it more difficult to report. It makes it for other people to prosecute this case because it's my dad. If my dad is doing this to me, I'll start considering. He pays fees, he helps these people. And then there are people who tell you, do you want your father to go to jail? You should not report this. Who'll be helping us? He's a breadwinner. And then it's like, you know what, forget all this. But then what about me? I'm still living with this. He'll still be doing this. So that's our organization focuses on the victim. Yeah, whether this person was the breadwinner, we have to focus on you because it's a trauma. Your life has changed. When you're raped, your life has changed. There's no going back to that. There's no tomorrow I wake up, I'll be fine. It's like losing your parent. Tomorrow, you'll not wake up the same person. Your life has changed. So the victim, if these effects are not taken care of immediately, it will go either the good way or some actually turns out for the better. They become advocates. They say, I don't want this to happen to anybody else. And some, they are the prostitutes. They are the people now who just live with older men because this is what they were introduced to when they were young. So the effects are very wide. That's why it needs to be dealt with immediately. They have to report immediately. Yeah.
Look, there's so much. Number one, first step, believe the person. Because it takes courage for someone, even for a child, I think, to come and say something negative or something they think is a bit off about someone they call uncle or auntie or someone they trust. Because I would think, to begin with, one of the things was I wanted to ask what some red flags could be for parents with young children. Because sometimes, when I was at work, someone was saying, and it's like,
or even insisting to be with them because they're attached now.
It could be either way. So attachment and also like a bit of a fear and resistance towards the person. My thing was, we were talking early on even about maybe a child that comes and says something like, and they're checking their breath and they think that the doctor touched their boobs and they are uncomfortable. The child doesn't even have proper matured breasts, but they think something happened. Can we look at that as a red flag and sit down with the child and ask, what happened? Has something happened? What are some of the red flags we can look at?
That's where now children are very vulnerable because they have to report it. And then there are parents who don't pay attention to their kids.
True.
This is where now the problem is because parents don't, especially, the preteens, they're at the age where they're moody, they've started lying, they want to become, it's puberty. So it's an identity thing. So if the child is quiet, it'll be like, moods, it's that time of the, kids are this, or maybe last night, maybe he got whipped, and then maybe you don't know what's going on with these kids.
We try to make all kinds of connections.
Yes, but then if, like I said, it's a trauma, your life changes. And if you pay attention to your child, you will know that something is wrong. Even if it's not you, it's a teacher who notices. Teachers are also people who notice things that, your grades have started to go down or you're suddenly quiet. Kids are not born quiet. They're always jumpy. They want to socialize. Kids they're born to be social. But then when something happens to them or when they are maybe talked to the wrong way, they start now doing this. So when this happens is they become quiet, they become depressed. They don't want to associate with other kids because they're like, this has happened to me, I cannot relate to you. Even kids can do that. You see your kid and you're like, this doesn't you cannot relate. So they become depressed, quiet, ashamed. They may even start stealing, they may even start lying, they may even their behavior changes. That's the thing. So when your child changes their behavior, you have to pay attention. And you can ask, you can probe as much as you can, what is wrong. Eventually they'll see that, this person is interested, and they'll come out. Children are very easy to report these kind of things. So, but then the sad thing is when they reach puberty, it's when now you realize maybe when they're pregnant, when it's too late. because a lot of the cases we hear, grandfather has impregnated this 8-year-old. It's when it's too late, we go to the hospital, she's pregnant, you hear, I've been abused for 6 years. These are the cases. Yeah, when I was 5,
Yeah.
So it's even our culture where our grandfathers, they're like, my wife, and you sit on his lap and you're attached. And then that is, sexual abuse, because take advantage of that. And you love this person, which is also wrong. You love your dad, you love your grandpa, you love your uncle. So it's difficult. It's something that you have to, as parents, as guardians, you have to pay attention. Yes, that's the first thing with kids.
Wow. Culture.
Yes.
Agazanga. Amunanga.
Yes.
Aya, all of that.
Yes.
I'm guessing those are things that we probably need to start looking at.
Yes.
And maybe making some changes.
Yeah, it's one of the causes. When we are doing maybe awareness campaigns, we ask the community, why do people rape? And you get these answers where people sleep with kids under 5, because they were told by the witch doctor that if they sleep with a 5-year-old, they'll be cured of HIV. Stuff like this. These little cultural traditional beliefs that we believe, when you sleep with a 5-year-old, you get rich. Stuff like this.
Yeah.
Our culture, like, amunanga, agazanga, these little things that promote defilement and abuse, these cultural practices.
Yeah.
A lot of things that are causing the children to be defiled, to be raped at alarming rates.
Yeah. You know what, on that note, we're going to take a break and we will be back. I would love to kind of ask her a question on, is there a way of sharing abuse that makes it sound like abuse? Is there a better way of saying someone's raped me? Because I've heard stories about, is there a way that someone should share it? Maybe that will help a person if they share it better. So don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is WOMANITY on Zodiac. Thank you for joining us, Natalia. We are having, I think I'm very happy to be talking about this. It angers me, as I said, that there's so much that happens with young people, with children. I think they're the most vulnerable, like you say.
Yes.
That children are dependent on someone. So because of that, they are more likely to be abused.
Yes.
And you said first thing, if someone comes to you to tell you that they've been abused, is to believe them.
Yes.
It is not in anyone's place to start.
Yes.
I don't know if the person could do that.
Yes.
No, believe the person so that we can see a way of handling the situation. Now, with that, when we aired the program, some people said, so tsigana sana inene mwino nkaniyo. Ndewudi nangadimukubidida bwanji. Is there a way for someone to come, like, is there words that a person needs to use for them to seem abused for real?
No, you know what? We, at our organization, actually, we've launched this campaign of breaking the silence. We need to stop taking these things as a taboo. You cannot say andigwirira. You cannot say, anandigwira musakabu. No, we need to say these words. We need to stop hiding behind gender-based violence. This is a whole other thing. It's rape. You are reporting. If it's a child, they'll say, anandigwira ababa. You know that's a private part. And if this person is reporting this, it's inappropriate. A child cannot come, no. When it's anandigwira my private parts, that's already, that that's a red flag. So you do not say no, she needs to say in a better way. She needs to say it. Anandigwirira. This wasn't that I gave consent and maybe I changed my mind. No, anandigwirira. I did not want this. Anandigwirira.
Now that comes to the issue of communication, which means someone needs to know what it is for them to be able to say it, or at least have an idea. And like you're saying, the child might not know what to call it because they can point at the place. When it comes to parents and their children, what would be your advice on teaching them things like, because we talked in the car earlier about they should be able to say that someone did 1, 2, 3.
Yes. That's one of the it can be prevented. It happens, yes, but then it can be prevented. Since kids are the most vulnerable, you have to tell them at an early age. You have to stop saying, this person is young, I cannot say anything. It starts small, like a parent to tell your kid, nobody should allow to touch your private parts unless it's time to bath or you want to go to the toilet. Nobody.
And
Don't let
specific people.
Yes, no, don't let anybody else apart from me or maybe the nun you trust to touch your private parts. If anybody ever does this to you, report to me. Kids believe, kids
they will take it.
They
it's
will
gospel
take it.
Truth, eh?
You know, and if this person insists, scream as much as you can.
And I'm guessing with what you're saying, it's good to kind of teach our children early as well,
Yes.
to get over,
Yes.
to get off someone
Yes.
cleaning them.
Yes.
That's probably one of the first things to be teaching,
Yes.
how to clean your private parts.
Yes.
Wake up.
Yes. You know, it starts small. You tell them these little things. You know, say no to stuff that you like, the sweets. You know, they get taken up by little things. You ask this kid, you know, because an nuclear biscuit. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
Small things. So we need to empower kids. Basically, the more we see kids as vulnerable, it's when also the perpetrators see them as vulnerable. We say, oh, they're innocent, they're not ready for this. That person sees the same thing.
That's a chance.
That's a chance. So they are actually powerful. They need to be empowered to report, to scream, you know, to say, no, don't touch me. When a kid says, you know that this kid is going to report me. Yeah, and kids are very good at taking up those things. We should not underestimate them that they are too young. No, we should empower them to report and actually tell them the preventive measures. You know, don't talk to strangers. Don't go home from school alone. Walk in groups. Small things like that. You know, when you see your friend doing this, report. Yes, it's the little things.
With that, I would say also, when if we are going to send our children off to sleepovers, I don't know. I mean, they're great.
Yes.
But it's important to ask them when
Yeah.
they come home what had happened.
What happened.
And before they go to their friend's house, to look out for certain things.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of things that we can do
Yes.
to prevent
Yeah.
these issues. Like you're saying, teach them what not to do.
Yes.
Or who shouldn't, like boundaries.
Yes.
Boundaries are very important for them to be able to know that this line must not be crossed by anyone.
Yes,
Anyone.
exactly.
Sometimes that line actually, there's a time in life when the line should not be crossed even by our parents.
Yes.
Not even by mom.
Yes.
You know, after
Exactly.
a certain age, mom shouldn't even be doing
Yes.
certain things.
Yes.
So with those things that you're saying, they are powerful
Yeah.
children.
Yes.
They're not weaklings just kind of
No.
sitting around, but we
No.
need to empower them
Yeah.
to teach them these things. And talk about the issue of, because we talked about the first one stop,
Yeah.
what are the things that must happen aside from coming to the hospital? Shall I say, why should I go to the hospital so fast?
Yeah.
Especially with things like STDs
Yes.
and HIV and all of that.
Yeah.
Why should I go in so quick?
You know, like with the case with the girl with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
She I think she was an adolescent. She had come of age.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first reasons why you need to go to the hospital first, other than to the chief, to the ward, the police, you have to go to the hospital first because as an adolescent, it means you can get pregnant. So the hospital provides an emergency contraceptive that helps you not to get pregnant. Other than that, if you're not HIV positive, you can get post-exposure prophylaxis, which is PEP, which the hospital administers to you not to get HIV.
So this is something that kind of prevents it?
Yes, it prevents you from getting HIV if you do not already have it. If you already have it, they don't give it to you. So it's also a health issue where my kid, I have to believe this one because there's a chance she could be HIV positive. There are a lot of cases where, these grandparents, because of what I said, cultural beliefs, where they think if I sleep with a kid, I'll be cured of HIV. So immediately when they do this, it means this kid has HIV. A lot of cases that are going to Kamo Central Hospital is that the kids, you find out too late and then they're HIV positive. So you have to break news to this kid who is 13 years old that, first of all, you're pregnant, or maybe you were being defiled, which is wrong, and they don't even know that it was wrong. They actually say, I was in love with my grandpa, I love him.
Wow.
And then you have to tell them, oh, you're pregnant, and then you have to tell them, oh, you're HIV positive. So it's a traumatic experience, and that's why I'm saying the effects are long-term. So the hospital first, and then after that, the police. The person who did this needs to be prosecuted for him or her not to do anything else to anybody else. And then there's the important role of trauma counseling. A lot of people always, say it's not important. Or when I go to the medical side of it, trauma is not, like I said, when you get raped, your life has changed. It's traumatic. You not wake up the same person. And these effects are long term if they're not dealt with. So it's the first session, which is a psychological first aid, because you may not have a chance to meet them again. They may not come again. it's voluntary. When you come for counseling,
Oh,
you can,
right.
yeah. So if you have this chance to meet them, if it's a kid, you tell them the preventive measures. You have to believe them. Tell them they're not the victim. They're not to blame. Some, they're told, Unavala Jan, the first person you're reporting is, yes.
What? I hate to hear that.
What did you wear? Why did you, it's not your fault. We tell them, you are not the victim. You're not to blame. You are not to blame. It's not your fault. That's the first. And they also need somebody who can listen to them. They just want a listening ear. Somebody who won't judge them. Somebody who's not their mother, their father. Somebody who doesn't know their story. And they actually open up. The moment you ask, how are you feeling? They open up. A session that's supposed to last for 45 minutes can go on for 2 hours because they've met this new person. So trauma counseling is important. And then I explained of the social affair. And the magistrate. Yeah.
So that's very important aside from getting them physically checked and everything, someone needs to cater for them.
They need to be emotionally checked.
Yes, on that level.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, like you said, for families, that thing of believing the person is quite empowering, and for them it's a safe zone.
Yes.
If you know that, my parents believe me, they're more likely to protect you compared to a parent that doesn't believe a child. And I would think that's when people just run off. They leave home and they do all kinds of crazy things because they're looking for a safe haven.
Yeah, because parents are in denial. When your kid comes to you, my uncle is doing this to me, as a mother, you'll be in denial. That's why I also have these support groups, and we also give counseling to the family, actually, because their life has changed.
Wow,
how do you handle this kid who has been raped in your own house? Even kids, they're like, how can you not see this? A lot of kids will be like, how could you not see that I've changed? They blame parents. They blame all this, and the parent also blames themselves. Why would my husband want to sleep with my daughter? They are also emotionally
or someone they trusted.
Yes, how can my brother do this to my child? How can this teacher? They are also affected.
So it affects everyone.
It affects the whole family. We do family group sessions. We do the support groups where people think it's only happened to me. Why me? Ufiti, satanic. It's something that is happening. So when the more they meet a lot of people, they're like, okay, it doesn't happen to me.
And I'm guessing you get strength from
that. So
Awesome. Well, you know what? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
How do we get to you guys? And because I'd love for someone that's in a position, I will say right now, if you have had an experience of any sort that is that we have described today, some sort of sexual abuse, please talk to someone. Talk to someone you can trust. Talk to someone that will give you an ear, because I think the moment it is spoken of, it has less grip on you and a lesser power because it has now been shared. But that's what you do. So how can people come to you?
Well, our offices are we are in Ilongwe. The headquarters is in Ilongwe, which is opposite Shoprite car park, where there is Blockbuster. There's a huge Chinese shop opposite the Shoprite. Yes, you go through that underpass. There are offices there.
And this is Fountain
of Life. And you can find us on Facebook. Just search Fountain of Life Malawi. You find it. Our website is www.mwfountainoflife.org. And our landline is 01759-203. You can find us. And I wanted just to stress on the children with disabilities that they are the most vulnerable because they rely most on someone. The ones on the wheelchairs, the ones with Down syndrome, they have to be taken care of, look after 24/7. So if it's even the caretakers who maybe also take advantage.
True.
So I would like to stress that they are the most at risk. So please, pay attention. That's why I say believe them. Pay attention, engage with them. You will notice that something is wrong physically. You notice emotionally. You notice. So, but when this happens to you, please go to the hospital first. The trauma counseling will come later on, but go to the hospital first. That's the first response.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much. My take would be zijazone naoti mudzu masama mwana zinata. The mudzi is corrupt. Don't just trust your kids with anyone. That is your child and your responsibility, not anybody else's responsibility. It's your responsibility to take care of your kid and to make sure that they are safe. So even the people that you decide to allow in your life, they will play some sort of part. It might be negative or positive, but we've got to be very picky. I mean, because we're in Africa, guys. No. don't do that, because you're putting your own kid at risk and your family, because like we're saying,
it's a family thing,
because we want to protect our reputation, and then we're stressed, the kid has a crap life. Protect your kid, believe them when they come to you, give them tools to protect themselves even when they're alone. So on that note, write us over our Facebook page, Womanity on Zodiac, and thank you so much for joining us. Speak up, people. Okay, guys also have these situations. They get raped too. They have all kinds of sexual abuse happening to them. There's nobody that's kind of beyond that, you know, like these things can happen to anyone. So if that's happened to you, be strong, be courageous, talk to someone, and let's move forward to getting you better. Thanks for joining us, Natalia.
Thank you for having me, and you can find us anytime. We'll be there to help you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.